Hey, you ever been to Chancellor Park? That's where I live. My name is Tavin Dillard. I live in Chancellor Park. I mow lawns, mowing, edging, grass cutting legend. I sure am glad to join me here on this podcast. I want to let you know what's going on in my neck of the woods. Now, I started out years ago on the YouTubes and then the TikToks and the Instagrams now and the whatnots. I got the websites, the tavindillard.com, but right now, I want to clue you into what's happening in my neck of the woods on the Tavin Dillard podcast. You here? I'm here. I'm glad you joined me. Now I'm going to send it over to myself. This is like the pre-introduction, but let's get on to the real show today. I'm glad you joined me here. Bank, bank. Welcome to the Tavin Dillard podcast, y'all guys. Season 10's, episode 14's. I got Tavin's Lawn Care Services. Mowing, edging, grass cutting legend. That's me. Welcome to, like season 10, I guess I ain't welcoming you to the whole season because by now we deep into it. We neck deep in season 10. We almost done. And it's time actually to start sending in them Q&A questions for the last episode here in a couple of weeks. So if you want to do that, just email me, tavindillard@gmail.com. You'll see that in the show notes today, or you can send me a text message. A lot of folks do it that way. 501-322-6249. And just put, this is for a season 10 Q&A or podcast Q&A, like in the subject line of the email, and just like mention that in the text message so I know you ain't just asking me to answer something right there that you want to maybe, me answer it on a podcast in a couple of weeks. So that's going on. Got the Butter Bacon 20 Out 24 campaign shirt. Cool and comfy, great for picnics, barbecues, bike riding, family reunions, floating the river, county fairs, and more. Actually, today what I'm going to do in them show notes is I'm just going to put my website, that's the tavindillard.com without the duh. Anyways, you'll see the link. And then once you get to my website, right on the front, you see the different opportunities you have. If you want to do shirts and hats, you click on that. It takes you all them shirts, not just Butter Bacon. We are going to be phasing out a few. I'm going to be talking to my buddy Ryan at Rock City Outfitters. We're going to, I'll tell you, the Tavin t-shirt collection has grown, and I think it's time to, put some in the vault, as they say. There's 3 or 4 I think we're gonna do like an end of summer sell on, and when they gone. We just gonna let them be like that away. And then there's a couple ideas for maybe a couple new ones. It's kind of like, boy, you clean out your closet, you clean out your garage or the carport, and you're like, oh, well, we got room for a water hose wrangler. Them things where you crank the water hose on and it twirl around it like that. You say, we got room for that, and then all of a sudden you filling it back up with other stuff. Now, I ain't trying to do that, but I got ideas, and I think maybe it's time to phase out 2, 3, 4 of these old shirts and bring in some new ideas. I don't know. But anyways, what I do know is that if you go to my website, you can see where to get the shirts and the hats and that kind of thing. And then you're also going to see the autograph rookie card. I made that available, just a limited amount here recently, because there wasn't no way to get it unless you bought the book when it first got released. But folks have been reaching out, and so I wanted to give that opportunity. And if you want it, you can take that opportunity. And you'll see that on the front of my website too. Just go to the website and you click that link, and then you'll see autograph cards. You can click there. Got the Peekaboo stickers folks been buying. You can get that if you put stickers on your water bottle, your laptop computer, your trapper keeper, wherever you put them stickers. And then, of course, personal video greetings. People got birthdays all year long. I've been doing birthday greetings, that kind of thing. All of that will be at the one link in the show notes. And, of course, my email that I just mentioned a little bit ago and my phone number. That's the way to get in touch for business inquiries. Folks been reaching out about, hey, do you do commercials? I do. I do commercials for different businesses, so we can talk about that. Usually, I take care of that over at the email side of things, tavindillard@gmail.com. Folks might message me on the Instagrams or Facebooks, and I say, hey, shoot me details on what you're thinking, and we can see if we can work something out. So I've been, I've shot commercials for folks, and there's other folks that reached out recently, from whatever kind of business you got, snack stores to donut or bakery, folks interested, that kind of thing. I do that. So that's how that's going. I hope that you doing well. Last week when we talked, it's still the Julys. Not no more, y'all. We have peekabooed right into the merry month of August. Now, I don't know if the kids in your neck of the woods are back in the schoolhouse. Some folks got longer summers. If you go to the college times, some of those start all year long. Like some done probably started, some start after Labor Day, some start in the end of September probably. I don't know. I didn't go to school for universities. But I'm just telling you, it's kind of that time of the summer where the schedule may be shifting a little bit. For me, we got county fair weather, county fair season. I mean, you can't control the weather. More on that in a little bit. In our area. Now, I don't live in the same county as my gal Cricket. She work in my town. She live county 2-3 over. And so I already know that she floated the idea, or she kind of voluntold me that next month sometime we supposed to go to her county fair. And I was like, okay, we do that. So it looks like I'm going to be county fairing it for the next month. But ours, I went this past week, and I'll tell you about that. Now, Team Burger Shed, there's going to be an update today. I got an update for you. We now 6-2. 6 wins on the season, 2 losses. That ain't bad. Reason how come we still 6-2 is because we got a rain out 2 weeks ago. You remember that? But we did have a game this past week, and I'll have more on that in a little bit. This week, though, I went to the county fair. And that ain't no town picnic, y'all. It's the county fair. Big deal. Big deal. A lot of fun. I like the county fair. But first, I want to let y'all know about, that I actually already told you this. I was going to make another announcement about that Q&A. It's that time of year. Send them in. And again, I already told you how to do that. So I guess I tried to make 2 announcements about the same thing in a matter of 30 seconds. So I guess I don't want you to forget that. But again, check them show notes for all that kind of things. So the county fair, though, what do you like about it? Go on. What do you like about the county fair? I tell you one thing I like, but the thing about it is I can't control it, and that can be a little nerve-wracking. And that ain't just during county fair season. It's all year long. What I'm talking about, y'all guys, is the weather. You know about that? I mean, if anybody thinks they are in control of life, all you need to do is be around about a day on earth and you realize I sure ain't in charge of this weather. Ain't that right? So all I can choose is my response to that weather. And that's true for all of life. You can't control when that feller with no shoes, coveralls, a sinister smile, ball cap on backwards is going to slow down that spin cycle ride at the county fair. But you can control if you're going to get on that ride in the first place. Ain't that right? Well, the weather was nice. And we had a softball game get rained out, like I said, on account of a thunderstorm. That weather was rough. So it's good to have some nice weather this week, not only for my trip to the county fair, but also for our softball game that we had, because we did have one. Them summer days when there's enough breeze to take the edge off and the night's clear, maybe a few clouds, but they ain't the mean ones. It's just perfect, comfortable, and a good time to be outside. I mean, I didn't have no trouble with the skaters this week. That's when you winning. When them skeeters ain't biting. If you know anything about county fairs, though, a lot of it is outside. Sure, they got that livestock pavilion and the commercial building where folks have their booths set up, that kind of thing. But a goodly amount of the county fair is outside, on them fairgrounds. Rides, games, food, entertainment. They got outside stages set up like that away. Our county fair does have some rodeo competition stuff, too, in the evenings. So it's a lot like a buffet. You can pick and choose what you want to go to like that. I feel like I saw almost everybody in town there this week. Now, I didn't see the nursing home residents because they didn't have a field trip there the day I went, which also means I didn't see my gal Cricket at the county fair because she's at the nursing home working with them residents. I don't think it bothered her too much because she liked to make that money and she liked her job, but also, like I said, we plan on going to her county fair next month, so she ain't feeling like she's missing out, I guess. But I did see Jerry Don and Sybil Farnhart. Indeed, I did. Years ago, they owned their own restaurant. Might even call them food connoisseurs. They got a good business mind. They just built for it. They know how to start a business and run a business and make money off that business. They own the flea market in town. I know you know that. And the shingle don't fall too, the old shingle don't fall too far away from the trailers. That's how the old saying goes, because they son rents He's a buddy of mine. He owns his own business. You know that, fishing clips. Is it a restaurant? Yeah, it's a restaurant. But it's way more than that with that bait and tackle shop out there. And the paddle boat rental now that him and Myron Curtis got going, there's a lot going on. So anyhow, I seen Jerry, Don, and Sybil. They've been on vacation, not to the county fair. They went to the Smoky Mountains in the Tennessees. They got a PT Cruiser to keep it well maintained. Them are too low to the ground for my liking, but I think that's why Jerry Don likes it. You know, the older you get, you don't necessarily want to be climbing out of a big old truck or whatever, even like a little old truck. You end up looking like a toddler trying to get off a couch. He said they seen some beautiful sights and found some great places to eat on their vacation. Lots of wildlife. You're liable to mess around and see a bear or two in Tennessee. So now they ain't on vacation, but at the county fair, they still eating like they on vacation. It's hard not to at the county fair. Sybil had a pulled pork sandwich and sweet tater fries. Jerry Don had barbecue ribs and coleslaw. I think that's pretty brave of Jerry Don, truth be told, because I do like the slaw, but firstly, I just as soon have it on my pulled pork sandwich, not on the side. And B, at the county fair, I like that food that don't require no fork or spork or whatever. And then nextly, coleslaw is one of them things that tastes different depending on where you at. So you never know what you're going to get. It's like the slot machine of the side item world. I mean, you pull that lever and look at it, we'll see where it spins and ends up. This coleslaw's too bland. This coleslaw's too sweet. This coleslaw's too spicy. They forgot to have any taste in this coleslaw. Did they just cut up cardboard? I don't know. So, I mean, that's a risk I ain't willing to take, especially just as a side item. Like, I'm going to eat this separately from my barbecue ribs. It's part of my meal. No thanks when it comes to the county fair. And them county fair prices ain't cheap. So if I'm going to gamble on county fair food, I'm gambling on something deep fried, because that hot oil covers up all kind of mistakes and helps anything taste better. I know you know that's right. But that's what they had. So Sybil's also got a big old lemonade. That's like a county fair staple. Jerry Don got a Coke, and by Coke I mean Coca-Cola, not a Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, Pepsi, any other soda pop. So I chatted with them for a little bit, but then they was off to the commercial building, what they called the business barn. I had a little booth over there last year's, but I didn't do one this year. You know, you in there for a while, it's nice because it's shady and it's cool and they got a little air running in there, all that kind of thing. You get air conditioned off, and you might find, you know, like a free pencil or a pen or a ruler or something, some, you know, business is trying to hand out. You get some freebies, what they call freebies. You ain't paying for it, it's free. It's a freebie. That's the name they gave it. You know, folks know that. That's just a name. It's a term people use, people know, people see it, people hear it, people look at it when they at the business barn at the county fair, and they're like, oh, here you go, you want a freebie? And they know what you're talking about. You giving them something for free from your little booth. Well, business is good for me, and I had to pay to be there at that business barn last year. Didn't seem worth what I got back, but lots of businesses seem to love it, so I just got there to enjoy the county fair. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't in the business barn as Tabbins Lawn Care Services this year, you know, mowing, edging, grass cutting legend. I wasn't, you know, promoting a thing like that. Myron Curtis and Mary Beth Tucker was at the county fair too, and they loved them rides. But some of them rides, they got a weight limit where it just ain't safe for them to be on there together, or they got to sit in different rows or something like that. And Mary Beth and Myron, they love that food too. Boy, I get that. Myron got some sort of spicy nachos. Sounded like a good idea at the time. Smelled like a good idea, but here's the deal. What in the world is your plan, Myron Curtis? You got to have a plan, because if you about to eat something that might tear you up, especially if you got tender guts like Myron do, you better be done going on them rides. Don't put yourself on a ride when you might be suspect to tummy trouble. I'm just saying it could cause a mess on one end or the other. You got to know this. When I seen Myron with them spicy nachos, I asked him to his face, I said, you done? He smiled and said, well, we're going to do other stuff for a little while, then maybe come back to the rides. I was like, no, Myron, you got to know that you need to have a hard no on this. You just got to say it up front. Don't leave the door open for maybe a ride later. You ain't going to be able to handle that. This is why you got to shut down the rides for hours. Folks do that here because of folks like you who thought their spicy nachos was going to stay put in that tummy of yours. Like, you can't be doing this, Myron. I mean, if you're going to eat all these nachos, you got to be done with them rides. You got to know that's what I was trying to tell him. Myron just kind of chuckles at me, and Mary Beth grabs his hand and pulls him toward that business barn. Hopefully he can cool off in there and forget that he wants to go on them rides. That's my hope, because I just don't think that's a good idea for him. But I ain't in charge of Myron. Just like the weather, I can't control that. I can't control Myron Curtis's eating habits and choices at the county fair. That ain't my job. So I meet up with Russell Tucker for a while. His son Ronnie Keith was with him, and he said later his little boy Jesse's doing some mutton busting for the rodeo. So he got a busy night ahead of him, you know, going from here to there and then trying to pack in the own fun you want to have, but you got your children there. You got to make sure they where they need to be at the time they need to be there and that kind of thing. The thing about all them options at the fair, though, is that I don't want to blow it with a bad choice. You know, we talking about, oh, you can go over here, you can go over there, you can eat this, you can eat that. I've done that before. Also, I don't want to get stuck with something like coleslaw. So I hem and haw, and I ain't sure what I want to eat. And Russell went standard corn dog and French fries and a Dr. Pepper. And he had me seriously thinking about that. But it's just, boy, it's just straight standard county fair food. You ain't going to go wrong with the fries, the corn dog, and the Dr. Pepper. And I know that, and I didn't want to overthink it, but it's too late. I was already overthinking stuff. Really, all I wanted was a dessert, maybe a deep fried Oreo, but I knew I needed me some supper. So I decided to go for a bacon wrapped hot dog and a bag of them jalapeno flavored chips and a sweet tea. So a little bit out of the side of the box for me, but nothing I don't like. You know, I like them bacon wrapped hot dogs. I like a good jalapeno chip, and I love a good sweet tea. I put mustard, ketchup, and onions on that dog. Me, Russell, Ronnie Keith all sat down and we ate our food. Ronnie Keith had the same thing as Daddy did. And then we went on to win something at the carnival. That was the next thing I wanted to do. Now, I don't spend much money, if any, at the carnival, because it ain't a sure thing. Bacon wrap hot dog, sure thing. Take my money. Shooting a basketball at a weird shaped basket for maybe a purple teddy bear? No thanks. Me and Russell walked by the stage they had set up for entertainment. Cheryl Grubbs got them junior cheerleaders on stage performing. She got them performing everywhere. She the coach. They had to start the CD over when we was walking by because it skipped or one of the girls started late. I ain't sure, but they was getting that worked out. Russell, he had to look at his watch. He said him and Ronnie Keith needed to be getting over there to meet his wife and Jesse at the little rodeo arena. You know, like I say, Jesse's mutton busting. I told him I'd see him later that week at our softball game because I didn't know if I was going to run into him again at the county fair. More on that softball game in a minute. But at that time, I'm saying my goodbyes to Russell. I seen a janitor steady hustling with a mop and a bucket over to a little dragon roller coaster. They're helping folks down off the ride. I can't tell if the ride stuck or what happened, but then I Sherlock Holmes it and I figure it out. There, in the front row of the dragon coaster, is Myron Curtis and Mary Beth Tucker. She got her face in her hands. I can't tell if she's crying or trying not to throw up. They the only two people left on the ride, and ain't nobody that works there unlocking their seats. Turns out nobody wants to touch their seatbelt. You know, them little seatbelt cover things, they seatbelts, but they're on a roller coaster, because Myron has lost his spicy nachos all over the front of that seatbelt, the coaster car, and the left side of Mary Beth Tucker's head. I don't know what that fella thought he was going to mop up. The side of Mary Beth, maybe the front of the coaster. I get close enough to talk to Myron. I was like, you circled back to the rides, didn't you? He kind of nodded at me. He goes, I thought I waited long enough, Tavin. Myron, I ain't going to tell you I told you so, but I am going to say that you got to give these rides a hard no. Once you wander into spicy nacho land, you got to tell them no. They ain't friends. They ain't never going to get along, and now you paid upwards $10 with nothing to show for it except this. I kind of motioned to that gross roller coaster car, Mary Beth's head over there. She kind of sobbing lightly into that dragon roller coaster. You okay, Mary Beth? She don't even take her head out of her hand. She just kind of shakes her head no. Now they bringing over a fellow with a hose, and they kindly hose off that coaster car before they can even think about unlatching Myron and Mary Beth. Sun was basically down by now, and even though it was great weather, you liable to get a little bit cold if you're getting sprayed by a water hose in the front car of that dragon coaster, and that's exactly what happened to Myron and Mary Beth. Finally, enough help arrived, and they got out, and they cleaned up the ride, but it's closed the rest of the night. Come on, Myron. Seemed like it was going to be a pretty low-key, enjoyable county fair, and it was for me. But Myron and Mary Beth just as soon forget about what happened from the Dragon Coaster on. Later in the week, we had our softball game. And as you know, we still 6-2, and we're playing Bickham's. We played them earlier in the season. That's Bickham's all-you-can-eat catfish buffet, and they beat us 17-14 earlier this year. So we know we can hang with them. In fact, Rance Farnhart pitched tonight till the 5th inning, and he did a good job. Mort Waddell was having a good day at the plate, and he was seeing the ball well. The other guy really dialed in for Team Burger Shed was Brody Childress. And by the 5th inning, it was 7-2, Team Burger Shed. So, you know, we feeling good. That's when Russell, he decided to bring me in to finish out the game. And what I'm talking about bring me in, he meant bring me in. We all play and we ain't got subs, but bring me in to pitch. He put me on the mound the rest of the game just to kind of finish it out, you know, hold down the 7-2 lead. So for them last couple innings, well, the first fella up on Bickham's hits it high and deep, and Cody Briggs catches it against the wall. So now we got one quick out. I'm feeling pretty good. Then the next two guys hit singles. On that second single, the guy on first, he went all the way to third base. Well, that next batter hits it right back to me. And we got that runners on first and third now. Fires it back at me, and I fire it home. I throw it to the catcher. Only thing is, the runner on third didn't break for home. He didn't have to. Wasn't nobody out behind him pushing there. Wasn't nobody on second base. So he didn't move. Now the bases is loaded with one out. And that means somebody's on first, somebody's on second, somebody's on third. We got one out. I'm still pitching. I feel like they ain't been bad pitches. We got a couple singles and the infield thing that went right back to me that I thought was going to be an out, but that feller didn't run home. You know what you don't really want to do here with the bases loaded? You don't want to give up a hit. And you know what you really don't want to do here? You don't want to give up no home run. Well, guess what I did? Brody Childress was in right field, and he ended up hopping the wall, running and catching the ball. But when you're standing on the other side of the outfield fence and you're about 15 feet on the other side of it, it don't matter if you caught it. It's a home run. And in this case, a grand slam. I had one RBI on offense, but then I gave up 9 runs pitching. Russell pulled me and put in JT Whitlow's pitcher. JT gave up another 2. We only scored one more all night. So Bickham's won 13-8. We now 6-3 on the season, and 2 of them losses are the Bickham's all-you-can-eat catfish buffet. We thought we had them handled, but it got away from us, buddy. I don't know what my ERA is right now, but it ain't good. I only pitch every now and then I guess you can see why now. I felt bad, like I let the team down. But the fellas, they was nice. You know, we win as a team and we lose as a team. And as a team, I think we agree I'm probably better in the outfield. I mean, the only other thing I could do in the infield might be first base, but Mort Waddell's got that locked down. I'm a lefty. So you ain't typically putting no lefty at third or shortstop or second base like that away. So outfield's probably the best spot. Anyhow, plenty more season to go for softball. We still in good shape. We're going to have to be ready for Bickham's if we see him again. If somehow we make it to the playoffs, I'm pretty sure we'd see Bickham's there, but we ain't even close to the end of the season yet. Not for softball, but you know what season we are close to the end of? The Tab and Dillard Podcast, Season 10. We're getting really close to that. So, what that means, you need to send in them questions for the Q&A that's in 2 weeks. Questions is, that's what the Q stands for, and the A stands for answers. You send in the questions, I answer them on the Q&A episode, but make sure you put it in the subject line, you know, Season 10 Q&A, and if you text me, like, hey, this is for the Season 10 Q&A, and then ask the question so I know it's what it's for, so I can get them organized for that podcast coming up in a couple weeks. The way you get in touch with me on them is you email me, tabanddillard@gmail.com. That's in the show notes. Or you send me a text message, 501-322-6249. That number's in the show notes too. Next week's the last episode before the Q&A. The softball season, like I said, keeps going. So I'll be talking about that still once season 11 starts, you know, in a few weeks. But season 10 of the podcast is wrapping up shortly. Check them show notes for all that's going on if you need some merch. It is Bacon Month. The National Bacon Days at the end of the month. we're going to be doing bacon giveaways. Me and Bacon Boise giving away Tavin bacon bags, giving away Tavin bacon hats, and the grand prize winner, there ain't no river to this, you're going to have to cross the river of bacon to get to the grand prize. No, you just got to enter. But the grand prize winner wins 1 year of Tavin's bacon bags. So we got a lot of bacon fun coming up later this month. I'll have more information on how you can enter the giveaways and join in on all the fun later, probably in the next couple weeks on the podcast, maybe 2-3 weeks, I don't know. But it's toward the end of August, I'll tell you that much. So check them show notes for all this going on. I appreciate y'all joining me here on the Tavin Dillard podcast. Always a hoot to catch up with y'all guys. And hey, if you ain't been hosed off in the front car at a Dragon Coaster at the county fair this week because you had spicy nachos in your tummy and you had an accident to shut down the ride for the rest of the night, you having a pretty good week. Me, I'm Tavin Dillard. This is the Tavin Dillard podcast. Till next time, y'all guys. We'll see you later.